Min's Minute, Modcast with his mates, Ashni and Mo. Episode 200.
3, 2, 1!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Min's Minute Modcast with his mates. And today my mates are Ashni and Mo. And today is a very special day because, believe it or not, it's our 200th episode. I mean, how did that happen? Right? It was supposed to be something I thought, right, I'll give the dad jokes a rest for a few weeks and try out this little modcast thing. And before we know it, we were on 200. I set myself these goals because they always say, right, set yourself goals in life. So I said, well, let's see if I can get to 10. And before I knew it, I had 10. And then I was like, okay, if I get to like 50, maybe I'll get myself a decent microphone. I'm on my laptop today, so none of this is actually on show. So got to 50, and then when I got to 150 more recently, it's like, that's a nice 4K camera. Let's get a 4K camera. So I think I'm going to treat myself on episode 200 to maybe getting some decent lighting. So there you go. Set yourself some goals, right? And see where it goes. But there's been so much happening over the since last October, since we started the podcast, that today I wanted to kind of reflect on a couple of things. And the first one is really just on that basis of the world's really changed since September when we started recording these, in terms of just the progress of what's going on with AI, with the LLMs, and how we're just using them literally every moment of our lives. Well, I know a lot, us three are quite excited about this change. So let's kick off with Mo. How's life changed for you since September in terms of how you're using AI in the day-to-day from when we started the podcast to now?
Yeah, it's been a journey, you're right, and excited to be here on your 200th episode. For me and my team, it's been a journey. Initially, it was more about discovery. What are we gonna do with all these tools and updates and all these things coming in? And now I think with the world accepting AI more into their processes, into their way of thinking, everything is becoming more AI first. Can it be done with AI? Then, okay, let's go and think about other type of solutions. And it's just fascinating that it's just getting its place into the companies, into the organization, into the processes properly and being implemented. So I think acceptance is getting there, right? Before that, it was like, AI is here, okay, what do I do? I'm scared. All those emotions were coming in. But now we've got to a place of, okay, we understand. This has happened. This is happening. And we will embrace it. So all the companies and teams that I've worked with, they're shifting that mindset towards it on, okay, we need to embrace it. Let's look at it practically and get in that. But it's so much to consume, of course, so many updates, so many things coming in. And for me, one of my reflections is that don't rush, don't worry, don't get overwhelmed. Just one by one, take a tool, analyze it, test it out, see if it's fit for purpose, try and time box it and make sure like you do an experiment with it, and that's it, and move on, right? So before I was like, my God, what I do yesterday, something's out, but now I have reached a point personally as a reflection that I'm okay if there's new updates and all that stuff out. I'll look at it, but even in my own time is okay.
Mo, I think you've sort of hit the nail on the head in terms of that acceptance piece. I think since September there's been a huge wave of acceptance and adoption, both in how much I'm using AI in my career, but also just even in my personal life. I find I'm going to AI to ask the most basic questions about, tell me the weather forecast for the next 10 days, tell me what movies are trending right now, all sorts of things. But I think, Mo, like you said, it's that slow acceptance of, even though AI gives you instant information, actually really taking your time with each tool to kind of understand the full power of it and how it can best serve you, and, you know, the different types of AI and what they're best suited for. However, I will say I am an AI convert. I think as someone that didn't use it as much last year, I've definitely been using it so much more this year, and I look forward to see, you know, what it can really do in the years to come now.
Spot on, and you raise a really valid point in, we're not just talking about how to use it in our corporate work lives, it's how it's just transformed us generally in stuff we would typically do in our personal lives. I'll give you an example. We went to IKEA on Sunday to find some kitchen chairs, and we found one. We weren't particularly like, this is the perfect one, but we thought, okay, this is a good start of a 10. And traditionally, we'd just use like Google search and to try and find something similar. But now using ChatGTP, and also with obviously within Google now they have the AI mode as well. I just inserted an image of that one and said, scour the internet, find me something that's better, but it has to be these dimensions and this price range, etc. Right? And off it went, and it did that. And I think it's that sort of thing we're now starting to just do in our day to day in terms of, right, let's just let the system do what it needs to do and they'll come back. That's super quick. But now with also using a little bit of the agents as well, I've started dabbling with using just some of the basic agents in terms of you connecting it with my calendar, my emails, and then just doing really, like you were saying, Mo, it doesn't have to be super complex things like, okay, we need to, solve something that's going to sort of change the world. Just basic things like where I would say to it, right, remind me what emails I need to chase and what's in my calendar this week, what's urgent, and just things like that. And I think just getting into those sorts of habits and just testing those waters, like you said, it's not nothing to be afraid of. Just those little efficiency gains just really help with embracing a little bit of this change that's coming as well.